My 365 Podcasts with me, Pete Cohen. Hi, it's Pete Cohen here and welcome to the podcast. Now, this is one of my favorite times of the month because it's when we reveal our member of the month and we get to find out really what some amazing people have achieved. So our member of the month is an incredible lady. I'll introduce you to her in 1 second. But go and check out my365.me/elite, mi365.me/elite, and see what coaching can do for you as it's done for our member of the month. So our member of the month is the incredible Susan Dugan, who my wife calls the Duganator. I was going to tell her that before we actually started recording. So it is Susan Dugan from Scotland. Susan, how are you?
I'm fine, the Duganator. Wow.
Has anyone ever called you that before?
No, I've been called Susan McDugan by one of my children that I work with, but no, not the Duganator. So
you are the Duganator, and we've been watching your progress, and it's incredible. And we actually spoke to you a couple of weeks ago when we were doing something promoting Elite, and I listened to you with about your story and what you've done, and it was just like, wow, this is incredible. People need to hear other people's success. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, and how you came across My365.
Well, I am married to Joe, and we have 4 wonderful boys, so it's a busy house.
Yes.
I've got 2 teenagers, well into teenage years. One's just about to become a teenager and a 7-year-old.
Wow.
So it is very busy here. I live in Perth in Scotland, which is on the east coast, which is very white just now with snow and very cold. I'm an occupational therapist. I worked in the NHS for 22 years before I left to set up my own company called Motivate, which hopefully says what we try and do. We're trying to motivate the children using motor skills. And really that's my passion, to be working with children and to help them to find themselves.
Wow, I definitely would want to explore some more about that with you from obviously the importance of helping children, but also, you doing something that you're passionate about. So tell us, how did you come across My365 Elite?
A friend of mine on Facebook who has followed you for quite a while, I mean, she's not on Elite, but she'd shared something and I just stumbled across it and thought, that's what I need. Just right at the time, fate, I think, always intervenes, and it was something that I was needing. Listened to you for a couple of weeks and decided I have to go Elite. I need to do more than this. So that's how it happened. So it just popped up in my newsfeed.
Well, some people say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and I don't know whether that's true or not, but I think sometimes things do come to us when we're ready and when we're open, and we say, I need some help here, because it's very hard to get through life all on your own. The only reason we're here is because people have supported other people to get us to where we are here today. So tell us a little bit about what you've achieved since you've been an Elite member.
I guess from my point of view, I've always been quite a shy person. People who don't know me very well might not see that because I can use my work persona to look very confident. Mm-hmm. But underneath, when I came to My365, I was really needing help. I was feeling really anxious. I just had this anxious feeling in my stomach all the time. Didn't really know what I was anxious about. I think maybe an overwhelm of just, I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get through this. The work that I'm doing can be stressful, and as I learned through the work that I've done, that actually it's my decision to feel the emotion of stress or mm-hmm. put an emotion to the stress. I had pain everywhere in my body. I would say that I've got a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is hypermobility, which does cause pain anyway. So there's always going to be pain there, but the pain had totally taken over, and for the first time in my life I was really struggling to get on top of that. And as I've gone through working on myself, the pain has almost disappeared, which I didn't really notice until a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That it was there, because it's obviously just gone gradually, but I feel that it's my response to the situations, that I'm not making it into a negative situation anymore, or a negative feeling. And it's taken away. I was having awful migraines. I'd been for an MRI scan.
Wow.
Just really debilitated by that. I was still going to work. I run my own business. I can't be off. But I was exhausted and just tired and irritable and not coping with the pain.
Wow. And how much how far removed are you from that now?
I haven't had a headache for about 5 weeks, and I mean like even a little headache. I was taking a lot of medication for that, and I've managed to reduce that just down to a couple of tablets, with the hope that I can come off those tablets altogether.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the OG coffee before we started this, and honestly, I just feel so mellow after I've drunk the coffee, and I do think that's got a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You know, I wasn't, I think you probably know, I wasn't a coffee. I don't drink normal coffee, and I don't drink tea. I never even drank hot drinks. But there's no question that one of the ingredients in that coffee, the Ganoderma, helps to get oxygen to the brain. You know, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, so a lot of people just feel better, and it does so many other things. So, you know, that's also great that you can recommend something to people, and that helps. But what would you say it is about Elite that has really given you the results that you have now in your life? The essence of it. What exactly would you say that is, if you can put a kind of finger on it?
The daily broadcasts are amazing. I can't recommend that enough. So that every morning you're setting your day. I get up earlier. I'm really bad at getting up in the mornings because I don't go to bed in time. I've kind of changed my whole routine around that. I still struggle to get to sleep at night, but the morning routine is really important. The fact that you are speaking to people who are like-minded, who are not looking out to trip you up, or I don't know, in society it's really difficult if you're doing well. People are not always the most helpful towards you.
Yes. But
people on Elite are, go for that. They're not necessarily giving you advice, but they're just validating what you're doing.
Yeah.
We all need validation of the fact that we're trying. So we might not be where we want to be yet, but we're on a journey, and they're validating your journey as you go. I feel really safe within the group, feel that I can share things within Elite that I probably haven't shared with other people.
Yeah.
Interestingly,
carry on.
When we did the live broadcast the other week, my friend saw it. And she said, I've learned things about you that I didn't know. And I've been friends with her for a long time, 30 years.
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it?
Was that was amazing.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that come to mind when you were speaking there. And one of them most definitely is when people see us changing and getting better at things in society. And a classic example of someone goes to Weight Watchers and someone goes up and they get weighed and the person's thinking, wow, that person's lost weight, I hate them and I don't like that. And I think what tends to happen with some people is they're just envious. You know, we do live in a world that is kind of, we envy what other people have. The grass is always greener. I'm not good enough. They've got better than me. Rather than, and it is a hard thing to do, to celebrate other people's success and rejoice in that success. It's like, that's amazing. I want to be like that. And then to have role models around you, it does make such a massive difference. But I want to touch on passion in terms of, tell me a little bit about what it is that you're passionate about.
My biggest passion is to make sure the children that I'm working with have a voice. And to be understood. I mean, every child has got a role in this world, and the children that I work with have a lot of specific learning difficulties or general learning difficulties, and quite often with that comes behavioural difficulties, or what's seen as behavioural difficulties, but actually they're trying to communicate, and they're trying to communicate in the only way they know how. And I suppose we do that as well, but their behaviour can be really extreme, and it's very difficult for the staff working with them to try and understand what's going on, and they try and work with the behaviour. And my passion is to help people to understand why they're behaving that way, so that the children can move forward and actually be seen for their abilities rather than their difficulties.
Yeah, yeah. And what sort of results do you get with people?
It can be varied. It depends on where they're at, and I suppose that's some of the work that I've done with my 365. It always felt like, well, why are they being like that? But actually, it's where they are on their journey. So my colleague and I talk a lot about finding something that we've seen that they're working on really well, and start on the basis from that, and really, I guess, looking at what my colleague would say is stroking them.
Yeah.
So finding a way of making them feel good, so that then they're able to look at, right, okay, what is going on with that child? The child's the centre of this. The behaviour is just the end product of it. And I think we end up building up a really good relationship with the families and the staff, because sometimes when families come, they're in quite a battle with the school, and it's not anybody's fault. It's just because the situation has become so tricky. The child has got so many difficulties, and it's trying to unpick that, peel back the onion, as they would say, and get to the core of it and really empower people.
Yes.
It's not about telling them what to do. It's about them learning the skills, so that if they're working with that child and then another child comes along, they know what to do.
Yeah. It also seems like you've obviously gone back and peeling your own onion, if you like, and brought your better self to the party. It seems like a lot of people are very nervous about revealing their weaknesses and to the world. I think that's one of the reasons people don't like speaking in public, because they think people are going to see a weakness in them. But I think it's really the only way that you can bring out the best version of yourself, to chip away at what you don't need, and your insecurities and your imperfections. And it seems like you've really done that. How much more effective do you think you are at doing what you do now because you've done that work?
I think I'm so much more effective because I'm not taking things so personally.
Yeah.
So if somebody said something, it's because of where they're at, not because of where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. And also last week, you can't control the uncontrollables.
Yeah.
It's such a light bulb moment, because you're constantly battling against things that actually you can't control.
Yeah. It's
waste energy.
Which must be, I suppose, when you're a mother as well, and you're trying to look after your children, and you want to control things, you want to make things right, and realizing, hang on, there's only so much, like you say, that you can do. What I have huge amounts of admiration for you and anyone that goes on that journey of self-discovery is it does take sometimes a bit of time, and we live in a kind of a quick fix society where we want everything now, whereas this work is something you can't always see because it's happening on the inside. And it can take time until you start to notice, hang on, this is different. I am healthier. I do feel better. I did deal with that situation much, much better. But tell us about where it is that you're going now. Do you think ahead now of where you want to take your life and your business?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had goals. I am quite a driven person, as my husband will probably agree with that. But much more focused.
Yeah.
And the mindfulness masterclass was the first masterclass that I did, and that was really getting into meditation. I tried to meditate before and really struggled with it, but I think using mindfulness, so being in the moment, but also visualizing, using a visualization to see where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I had a tricky meeting last week and used mindfulness, but you also use visualization of what I wanted out of that meeting.
Yeah.
And the outcome was the visualization. But above that, the layer above that, yeah, I've got huge aspirations as to where I want to go, particularly with the business. we're year 3, so it's early in a business, but actually this year it's completely taken off. And since I started with my 365, been much more focused, and it's just moved to a different level. We're planning to, hopefully, if the planners agree, to build in the garden, which I think from a life balance point of view will be amazing. The building will be at the bottom of the garden. I'll not be commuting to work, which is not far away anyway, but it's far enough away.
Yeah.
And just really being able to time manage that a lot better.
Well, it's great that you've applied the principles that you've learned, obviously to yourself, your family, and your business as well, because we have a number of members who have applied those principles and turned businesses into extremely successful, profitable organizations, which give them a better lifestyle where they can invest a better work-life balance. And yeah, it's incredible. Why do you think it's important to get coaching? Why do you think more people should be getting coached?
I think the word's consistency there, because I've started so many things in the past, and I've bought all the. Honestly, you should see my bookcase. It is full of different self-help books.
Yes.
Cookbooks and self-help books, and oh yeah, that's a really good idea, and full of good intentions. And then something else happens, or I see another book, and I would buy another book. Whereas the coaching, it's 5 days a week. But at the weekends, everybody's speaking on Elite. You're learning all the time.
Yeah.
That you are showing up all the time, so that you've got other people looking out for you, but also you're setting down your own expectations.
Yes. And as you know, becoming, as we've spoken about this last week, becoming an applicator of knowledge, so anyone can read a book, but great, it's taking that and doing something with it. And that's what, again, I have huge amounts of admiration for you, because you've decided to, okay, I'll try that, even though I don't know exactly where it's going to go, and it might be challenging and uncomfortable. As we've said thousands of times, nothing grows in your comfort zone. It's getting a little bit uncomfortable and challenging yourself. So just finally, tell us a little bit about the masterclasses that you've already done. You said the mindfulness one really stood out for you. Have there been any others that you've kind of had some great penny drop moments?
The willpower one, because my son, it must have been when we were on holiday at some point, I was listening to that, and he was listening to that, and he quite often, he's 7. He's an amazing little boy. He quite often quotes back things from the Willpower Master.
Yes.
And he's going, he has some difficulties with dyslexia. And so we talk a lot about, it's in our family. So he talks a lot about willpower. It's really great. So he's coaching me sometimes.
Wow. Well, please thank him, because obviously our goal is to impact the lives of 100 million people around the world. And we realize that it's not just about what we do. It's about inspiring people like you who inspire other people. And we might not even meet those people. They don't know us. It doesn't matter. It's really all about making this world a better place. And as you know, I was diagnosed. I was just talking to my mum about that this morning, about being dyslexic. And often dyslexia is just the fact that people have a different learning style, and unfortunately in school, they can only teach us in 1 or 2 different styles. It's sometimes hard to adapt, but if we can adapt, like if teachers could adapt, and then we'll be more flexible, we give children another way of looking at things. And for me, the key is it's not telling people what to do, it's giving people different perspectives, and some tools and some techniques, and then creating an environment where they can play around and find out what works for them. And for me, you're probably a bit like me in terms of just a kind of humble person who's just getting on and doing what you do. But for me, you are a superhero, because you're showing the way. You're showing the way by living a life that you want to live. And just imagine if more people did that. So I'm extremely grateful for you being a part of our community. What would you say to anyone that's considering becoming a My365 Elite member?
It's just an amazing place to be. It's really hard to explain when you're not in there.
Yeah.
But it just feels like big arms hugging you, and helping you along the way. There's some of the people I've not met, but I feel like they're my friends, and they just get me.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And you've inspired a lot of people. And I know that that's kind of reciprocated. So I really appreciate it. What's been your biggest learning from everyone that's listening to this? What's been your biggest learning from listening to Susan? For me personally, it's definitely thinking about peeling back that onion. And also when you're working with my own onion and then helping people peel back their onion as well. I used to go to somewhere called TGI Fridays many years ago, and they used to have this thing called a Cajun onion, which was a massive onion, which was deep fried, and literally it was the best thing on earth to eat. It would take forever to eat. You'd have to eat it with 2 or 3 people, but you were peeling back and peeling back, and I used to really enjoy that, and that's what we have to do. We have to enjoy peeling back the onion and finding out things about ourselves, but realizing in most cases that's just what we've picked up. It's not the essence of who we really are. And that's what our purpose is all about, helping people tap into their true power, their true passion. And with meaning and with a group of like-minded people, there's not much really you can't achieve. So, Susan, thank you so much for being our member of the month for January. Let us know, all of you that are listening to this, what's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest learning? Please make any comments that you have so we can share them. If you want to share this podcast as well, we would really appreciate it. If you're listening on iTunes, make a comment. We're still in the top 10 on iTunes news and noteworthy. There you go, my dyslexic brain bringing 2 words together. And go and check out for yourself what My365 Elite can do for you. Go to mi365.me/elite and go and see what £1 a day can do to really change your life. So, Susan, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. You are awesome. And we will speak to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you want more free inspiration to optimize your life so you can achieve your goals in all the different areas of your life, then visit mi365.me. That's mi365.me and sign up to 365 days of free coaching with me, Pete Cohen. Thanks for listening and have an awesome day.